training today. Instead of doing the normal office hours Q&A, we're going to try doing some trainings, and these topics are going to be on things that I get consistent questions from Inner Circle members, and they're things that will help you on your journey regardless of where you are. So whether you're first starting out, whether it's your first week or your third year, these are things that are going to help you. They're things that I continually come back to myself. So today's topic is how to schedule time for yourself when there is no time. And I know that you all have had those seasons where it just feels like there's no time for anything extra. And then we put things on the back burner. We put ourselves, last, especially when it comes to our self-care. So if you're watching live, let us know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, let us know. Excuse me. And if you have any questions or you want to share anything, you feel free to share in the comments. That can also help this training because then we can just address more and specifically things that you're going through. It really helps when you share your questions. So the first thing you want to do when you're looking to schedule time for yourself, that could be to do your energetic adjustments. It could be like maybe you need to take care of some things like doctor's appointments or, all those little things that we put off. Maybe it's exercise, maybe it's a class you want to take, maybe it's to do the training, maybe it's to come to these trainings. So first decide, what is it that you want? Letting go of any perceived limitations, forgetting about what time you think is available. What would you, in an ideal world, in a perfect world, what would you have time for? And just write it all down. So you can take a moment and do that now. Write a quick list of all the things that you would just love to do. If I had all the time in the world, what are some things that I would love to do? Maybe that's a vacation. Maybe it's, adding certain fun things into your schedule. But, we don't do that. Maybe you're not doing it because it just doesn't seem like it should be a high enough priority. So make a list of all the things that you, in an ideal world, you would have time for. And then put a star next to, the top three, the ones that are that you would like them to be non-negotiable. You absolutely, these are the things that I must add to my life if I want my life to continue progressing, to continue leveling up. So do those things. If you've got a pen and paper, you make that list and put the 3 stars next to the most important. And then decide what you're going to make the priority. So this is a lot of it's just with this list and really coming to that decision. And as you come to that decision, you might have some thoughts like, well, is this really important to me? Why is this important to me? And what are other people going to think about it? You might have all these thoughts come up. So just allow these thoughts to come through and really stay focused on, what do I really want? And what are the things that are going to get me the results that I want in the fastest, most efficient way? I talk to a lot of people who wonder why they're not getting results when they're doing all of these different self-care activities. They list like a page long of all the different self-care activities they're doing, and they're like, I still am not getting results. The reason they're not getting a result is because their focus is spread too thin. So while they're doing a lot of different types of self-care activities, they're not fully focused on any of them. The other thing is that there's often when we're doing too many things at once, um, we're not focused on the things that are going to get us the fastest results. Some self-care activities go deeper than others. So why not do the things that go absolutely to the core and take care of many things at once? So for example, I do my energetic adjustments, and when I stay consistent with that, when I do that every day, it's amazing how my whole life changes and how my whole life breaks through because of that 20 minutes a day. That 20 minutes a day changes everything in my life and makes everything work so much better. And I end up saving lots and lots of time because it allows me to be so much more efficient because I'm not distracting myself. That's the thing with doing this on the phone. So it allows me to achieve way more in a very, very short amount of time versus if I were to get a massage, those 20 minutes, what can you do in those 20 minutes? You can get a partial massage, which is going to make you feel good, give you, potentially some clarity, but it's not going to go super deep. You could do exercise in those 20 minutes, which is amazing. But if you only had 20 minutes a day, then exercise is not going to solve anything. It's not going to resolve or address any solutions in your life. It's going to be certainly helpful. So decide what are the things in this list that are going to give me the greatest results, and is there anything in that list that you can say, you know what, maybe this isn't overly important, maybe this is not really a high priority. And so the next step, and as I'm doing this, feel free to ask questions or comment on things. The next step is to let everybody in your home know what you're doing so that everybody knows. For me, I do my energy work at 7 o'clock in the morning currently. It shifts around sometimes, but that's my current schedule. 7 o'clock in the morning is my energy work time. And I put my husband Ryan on my calendar link so that he can see, oh, this is Sarah's energy work time. And he knows that that's a high priority. And he knows not to expect anything of me at that time because that is what I'm doing. And it's also, it's setting those boundaries, and it is really sharing with people what your priorities are. And it's important for other people to know that you're making yourself a priority. So let everybody know what you want and what you need. So if your energy work time is, say, 7:30 in the morning, you might need someone to watch your kids, or you might need somebody to, do something that would normally happen at that time. Whatever we want, we are in charge of getting those results. We're in charge of getting those things. So that might mean us doing them ourselves, which is not realistic with everything, but what we are responsible for is delegating them out. So that's going to be really helpful just to get in that habit of delegating. And the next step is to take inventory on how you are currently spending your time. How are you currently spending your time? And be totally realistic, right? Like, how much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend with Netflix? How much time do you spend, doing all kinds of busy work types of things? And really track yourself for a week and see how many hours do you spend per week doing those things. I'd say the average person spends about 10 hours a week or more doing things like that. I mean, think about TV alone. Not to say that we shouldn't ever watch TV, but, 4 hours a day is very, very common. And 4 times 7, is that like 24, 28. I can't do math on the spot. I'm sorry. um, so that's a lot of hours. You could have a part-time job in those hours. You could start a business in the amount of time that most people are watching TV. Isn't that wild? So take realistic inventory on how you're currently spending your time and place it in your calendar. And I see your comment, Stephanie. I'm going to address that in just a moment. So before you put anything else on your calendar, make sure you're time blocking in your calendar. If you don't know what that is, let me know. Time block in your calendar. The first thing you're going to put there is your energy work or the thing that you are trying to work into your schedule. Everything else needs to fit around that. It's the most important thing that you could possibly do in your day. If you don't do anything else and you just do your energy work to shift your energy, to elevate your energy and become aligned and maintain your alignment, everything else is going to naturally fall into place. That's, it's just how that works. So that is, in my mind, that's the most important thing you could do in a day. And so putting that in your calendar first, wherever you want to put it, could be 7 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it doesn't matter. But just put that there first to hold that spot and make sure that you don't schedule anything over it. And then you can schedule everything else. And you may find after doing this with enough high priority things that you haven't been able to work into your schedule, once you add those in, you may not have time for the low leverage activities, the activities that aren't really contributing to much. You may not have time for those things, which is fine because they're not really helping you to progress. They're not really helping you to get what you want and have what you want. Does that make sense? So I learned this method over, it's been about seven years ago is when I started studying this. And, I was diagnosed with ADD. I'm highly creative, highly innovative. My mind is always working, always thinking. And I always had the hardest time with scheduling. I've always had like a block with scheduling. And, when I had jobs, I would always mess up my schedule. And I was always, it was pretty destructive in my life. And so I knew, especially once I started a business, I'm like, I have to figure this out because I've got all these appointments, I got all these things that I want to be doing. I want to be able to fit them in my life and I don't want to be sacrificing. So I figured this stuff out and it really works. You have way more time than you realize just by focusing your energy, just by staying focused. And maybe that is another topic, is how to stay focused, because I know, that was something that I've really struggled with, and that I have really overcome quite a bit with the area of focus. So Stephanie says, I struggle with being scattered and not committed in being consistent. I have been almost daily yoga. So that's awesome, Stephanie, that you're doing yoga almost every day. Now, if you're not fully committed and you don't fully stay consistent, a couple things could be going on. One is that thing that you're not fully committed to, is it something that you really want to be doing, or is it something that you feel like you're supposed to be doing? So that's really important to get clear on. Like, why do you feel like that is so important? Stephanie says, I suspect that I have ADHD or ADD. I really struggle with my schedule and focusing. I think it's my creative brain. I really need to figure out how to balance creativity and structure. Yes. So for people like us, we need systems. I systematize everything in my life. You should see my calendar. I've got repeating events. Like, my whole day is filled with repeating events because I don't want to use my brain power to try to figure out, okay, what's going on today? I just try to keep every single day as much the same as the previous day so that I don't have to, I try to hold as little in my mind as possible. So everything goes into a system. In what I'm teaching you right now, this is a system. This is a system. So whenever there's something that you want to fit into your schedule, you take inventory. That's step number one. And you say, what am I doing? And you really get clear on what do I want to be doing, and get in that habit of always asking, what do I want? And you may want something and feel like, well, that's not possible. I don't deserve that. All these things can come up, but that doesn't matter. Just focus on what do I want? And then what do I not want? Like really make it basic, really simplify those things, and then just design it. When I create my schedule, it's like painting a picture. I'm really focused on what I want, why I want it, how do I get what I want, and what are the steps to get there. And then I just put those steps into my calendar. And it's like painting a picture. It's like sculpting. And so when I'm done, I'm like, oh, look at this masterpiece. All these things that are going into my schedule, this equals prosperity. It equals love. It equals fulfillment. It equals joy. Because all of those action steps that I put in my schedule are leading up to those things. And it happens really, really fast when you do it this way because you're so focused. Okay. So does that answer some of those questions, Stephanie? Yeah, Dana says your balancing right and left brain meditation and recharge was truly special. I know a lot of like CEOs, executives, high achievers who do that left and right brain balance meditation, and it's like a game changer. Honestly, everything that I'm talking about started when I learned that meditation. A lot of it is the method. A lot of it is the method, but a lot of it was from shifting the energy. I used to be so right-brained, like 100% right-brained. And everything in my life was like chaos. Everything was like, I was super distracted, super just like in the moment, super like impulsive. And when I started balancing the left and right side of my brain, then I became so much more productive. I was able to focus easier, and it's just, it happens more naturally. And it really activated this executive functioning ability. Like I've always had a hard time with executive functioning. My mom was a special ed teacher, and she always told me, you have special executive functioning disorder. And I was like, darn, it made it really hard in school. It made it really hard in school. And luckily I was really good at, making my way through. But then when I had on top of homeschooling kids and running a business, it's like, I've got to figure this out. I do not have time to have executive functioning disorder. I don't have time to have ADD. Like, I need to have a solution to this issue, which is the systems, which is priorities, which is being truly honest with myself and being truly present. I'm telling you, if you have issues with focus, ADD, and stuff like that, doing your daily energy work, meditation, like becoming present as much as possible, like really getting in the habit of being present, is going to turn that what feels like a dysfunction into a superpower. It can really like mess with your lifestyle, but when you're able to become present, it actually turns into like super hyper focus, which is really interesting. And it's a form of intelligence, believe it or not. It's actually a sign of high intelligence. if you have that. So that's, the systems and the presencing and all that. That is a topic for another day. I don't want to take up, the rest of the evening on this. If you would like to do another training on creating systems and on developing laser focus, then let me know. Because, man, laser focus is one of the biggest keys to getting what you want, into manifesting whatever you want. It's just being focused, okay? And having the systems to make sure you take the actions to get it done. One more thing before we end this. If you truly want something, but you cannot stay consistent and stay focused on that, you might have a mental block to it. It might be an issue of deservingness. It might be an issue of resistance to growth. I've been working with a client recently who, had the same kind of a challenge where there was resistance to growth, therefore creating these roadblocks. And that is, it's very, very common that we sabotage our self-care because of these kinds of mental blocks. So luckily, you have all of those tools at your fingertips. Energetic emotional release technique will help you to release any block that you have. So say you have a block to doing your daily energetic adjustments. Then you can do energetic emotional release technique to ask, is this block a resistance to growth? That's the first question I would ask. If it says no, then go to some other questions that intuitively come to you and just, yes or no questions, and just narrow down what is that block, and then you can release it. And the nice thing about that is that that's a one-time thing. Of course, you can repeat it, but you don't need to worry about consistency with that method. Because, if I were to say, release that block through doing your energetic adjustments, doing your self-Reiki, then it's like, well, I can't stay consistent with Reiki and energetic adjustments, so that doesn't help. So use the energetic emotional release technique to move through that block, and then, just keep day by day, step by step. Okay, one more thing. All these ideas are coming to me. So the other thing that you can do is set very small goals. For some people, 20 minutes a day is a major commitment. It's a major change. And for people like that, set 5 minutes a day. Even just doing your chakra balance every single day is going to be exponentially different, exponentially better than if you were to do nothing at all. It's going to be even more helpful than trying to do a 10-minute meditation, okay? So doing your energetic adjustment every day, see if you can do that. See if you can do that for 1 week. If you can do that for 1 week, see if you can do it for 2 weeks. And then see if you can just keep adding on weeks. And then once you really get into the flow, get into this rhythm of doing your energetic adjustments every day, same time every day. Maybe it's before you go to bed. Maybe it's right when you wake up. Doesn't matter. Then you can add in the full energetic adjustment, or you could do it piece by piece. Whatever's going to work for you, you do it that way. There's no one right way to do it. So just take baby steps if you have to. Some people, you're going to be just so compelled. You're like, the time is right now. You're going to be compelled to go all in and do your 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever that is. You're just ready for it. But sometimes, it's doing something is better than setting a super high goal and then feeling overwhelmed and not doing it at all. So the consistency is more important than the amount of time that you're doing it. So just getting in the habit of doing something, some kind of energy work every day is going to make a world of difference for you. So is that helpful? Do you have any other questions? All right. Well, this was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for showing up today and joining this training. If you have any other topic ideas, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I've got plenty of ideas myself, but I would like to have some things that you specifically would like to address. So let me know what you'd like me to do future trainings on, and have an amazing rest of your day.